right.
at the bottom. Um,
All
and then
right. Think I got it here.
there you go.
All right. Perfect. All right. Well, good morning, guys, again. Thanks for being here. As Chase said, I'm Mike from IKO. Been with the company about 5.5 years. Um, and I cover uh, most of Colorado into southern Wyoming. So I pretty much handle just the our shingle stuff. And that's kind of what I'm gonna be discussing with you guys. So I have a presentation that I'm using just as a background, just to keep me organized. But I really just want to have an open conversation with the people that are on the call, and just if you guys have any questions, just feel free to ask them. I don't want to be doing all the talking because I know that's going to get boring. So just shoot off whatever questions you guys have, and I guess I just want to open it up first, and just ask the group, what they know about IKO, what they've seen about IKO, what they're curious to learn. I mean, anything that they're looking to get out of this, that you're looking to get out of this, would be really helpful, so I can better, um, you know, tailor my presentation, and then just touch on that stuff at some point. So, is there anything that off the top of your heads that is really important that you really want to learn about, or anything you've heard that you want clarification on?
Did you just call it IKO? Is it IKO or IKO?
I uh I I typically say IKO just so people understand what I'm saying, because when I say IKO, it sometimes flies by and people don't hear what I'm saying, and I've gotten Tamco before, I've gotten IKEA before, and we're definitely not those. So I typically say IKO, but you can say whatever you want.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the company prefers IKO, but I go the other route and say IKO just so people understand what I'm saying.
Great. Yeah, I think some questions that are helpful for us is, and I know these are basic questions, but we want to learn it so well that we can teach it to customers.
Hmm.
Um, but what what difference does like synthetic felt versus 15-pound felt make? And then a little more about the difference between class 3 and class 4 shingles.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah,
very rare that we sell anything besides those, um, like designer
sure,
shingles or anything like that. Um,
sure.
and then um, like we uh, uh, yeah, if you could just start with those, I think. And then all your
Yeah,
shingles are class A fire rated, right?
yep, yep. So I'll talk about all that stuff. I'll definitely touch on that stuff. What so you guys, what shingle are you most familiar with? This is probably GAF.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's probably
GAF.
HDZ or what do they call it? Or duration or HDZ.
Pouring duration.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, excellent. All right, so I'll kind of compare our shingles to those. So you guys don't sell the entry level shingles from GAF or OC. You don't sell the Natural Shadow or the Oak Ridge, correct?
Very rare, very
Okay,
rare.
excellent.
I
No, that's
mean,
great. That's
99.5. We've had like one or two jobs where they do like the presidential type shingles, but for the
right,
purposes of
right.
this meeting, that's kind of
Yeah,
a case by case. Like we'll call you in advance.
gotcha. Okay. Well, let me just give you some background on IKO, because that might be important as well. Just since you asked about how to pronounce it. Um, just to give you some information, IKO has been around. Um, we've been around since 1951. So about over 70 years. We are a family-run company. Um, this might sound surprising, but we are considered the second largest roofing manufacturer in the world after GAF. So, aside from shingles, we also do flat roofing, we do waterproofing, we do insulation. We export to about 60 to 90 countries, last I heard. So it's a very large operation. JF is technically the biggest roofing manufacturer in the world, and we're right behind them as number two. So, I just wanted to show you kind of our North American operation, just kind of can see where everything is. This is where everything is made in North America. I can explain all these plants if you want me to, but I just wanted you to see kind of all of our coverage in North America. And then Europe is a big one for us as well. So this is where we do a lot of our flat roofing as well. So do you guys ever heard the term vertical integration? Do you
You mean
guys know
like
what that
Eisenhower?
with
Yeah, I went to business school, so like I've heard of it. Like it's when we said I learned about it, but like what Eisenhower did, or where he basically bought it from the bottom up. Is that what you're talking about? Like,
Right. So the way IKO works is that, over the course of these 70 years that the company's been around, and the third generation sons are running the company right now. Um, they've managed to create their own supply chain. So everything that we put into our product, that is our own raw material. So we control the entire manufacturing process, 99% of it. So all the raw materials, the granules, we crush our own, we have our own granule mines. We crush our own limestone. We make our own wrappers. The process of taking that petroleum sludge that's left over when they refine oil, we do the oxidation process ourselves and turn that sludge into actual roofing material, into roofing asphalt. So we control everything. So everything's done under our roof, and that's how we can make a really quality shingle at a much more competitive price. But then also, if there is an issue, we can identify exactly where that happened. So that is very unique to the industry, and it's fortunately it's actually been able to insulate us from a lot of the issues that happened during COVID with all the the supply issues. Not to say that we weren't affected, but being vertically integrated and having our own supply chain, we didn't have to rely on someone else to make our product. So it's a pretty unique, you know, selling feature, I guess, or company feature of how we go to business. So I did just want to mention that we've built 6 new plants in the last 13 years, which is more than the entire industry combined. So us and GAF have the most of the new 4 wide laminators. So when it comes to plants, there's 2 wide plants and there's 4 wide plants. So the 2 wides are the older technology where you can't run as many shingles, and the 4 wide are the newer state of the art manufacturing plants. And us and JF actually have we're tied with 7 of most of anyone in the country. So we've built new plants. We're pumping out as many shingles as possible, and we've invested in all these plants in the last 13, 14 years, more so than any of our competition. So let's get into the shingles. Honestly, let's get into the good stuff. So I wanted to show you another thing that's very different about us and the other competition. So hopefully you can see this on your screen pretty clearly. There's 2 photos here, 2 shingles laid on top of one another. The shingle on top is your standard industry shingle. So that, whether it's a GAF, OC, whatever certainty, doesn't matter. The shingle on the bottom is an IKO. So you could see it's just a little bit bigger, hopefully. You can see there's more exposure and it's longer and it's wider. Is that pretty visible on the screen?
yeah. So you're just saying the IKO one's bigger. That's what you're trying to show here.
Yep.
Right?
So bigger is part of it. The other half of the equation is really, the fact that we promise when you guys get 3 bundles of shingles, we're giving you a real 100 square feet, which no other manufacturer does. So what that means to you is that you can order more accurately when you're doing your projects, and order less waste because we're giving you a real 100 square feet. so the way we do that is the bigger shingle, but also the way we package our product. So we package our product consistently. So I know on this slide here is a lot of information, but this is all material that you would need based on a 30 square roof. So if you look at this last column, the second last column on the right, you can see the coverage of a lot of the competition. And for a 30 square roof, we're going to be able to save you about 150 shingles to 180 shingles, depending on the manufacturer, just because we offer this true square.
Dang. So the other manufacturers say there's 3 bundles a square, but they're lying. Really, it's 3 bundles per 0.98 squares.
Exactly. Exactly.
And you guys are just telling the truth.
Exactly. So we're always going to have, so with us, regardless of what line of architectural shingles, we're always going to be 60 shingles to a square, 20 to a bundle, 60 to a square, and it's always going to be a real 100 square feet. So the way to look at this, over the course of the year would be, let me move over here. We have this calculator where you can actually put in how many jobs you guys are doing, and it kind of extrapolates what you guys would save just with the true square that we provide as opposed to the other manufacturers. So do you guys have an idea of how many jobs you guys are going to finish with this year as far as how many homes you're going to do?
Shingles?
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe. Kirsty, what do you think? 50?
I was gonna say around 70.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's say 70 roofs. We'll put that in here. Do you guys have like a goal for next year that you're looking to grow to?
Not the number of shingle jobs, but yeah, maybe like 80.
Okay. So let's just say we put average job is 30 squares, okay? And then you're doing 80 projects per year. And then price per bundle, what are the prices these days? Over $100, right?
Yeah, so it's
You don't have to tell me, just ballpark it. Let's say
Yeah, it's about 33 a bundle.
33 bundles, so $100 a square. And then labor rate, I'm just gonna put in, $85 in here. I'm not sure what your labor rate is, but I'll just put it in here just for an example. So then we have different manufacturers in here, and you can actually choose your manufacturers. Let's just leave it on GAF. So this here calculates what you're saving per square, and then if your average job is 30 squares, what you're saving per project, and then if you're doing 80 projects a year, what you're potentially saving over the course of the year.
Yeah. So you're saying like even if we're looking at the pricing and GAF and IKO are the same price per shingle, in reality, IKO is 2% cheaper.
Exactly. So this doesn't take into account any pricing. So just with, pricing being excluded, you're looking at potentially almost $10,000 in material and labor savings because you're buying less material and then you're going to be installing less material, right?
Cool.
So if IKO is going to be a better price point, which it hopefully will be, these numbers are even greater.
Yeah, it is a better price point.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. Cool.
All right. So if there's no other questions on that, let's get back to the shingle. So I'm going to skip over our entry level shingle because that's not something you guys sell. But I did want to talk about the weight of our shingle because it is important. We're known as one of the heavier shingles out there. So the shingles I'm going to talk about with you, which are equivalent to like an HDZ and a duration, and then our class 3 and class 4, they come in at around 230 pounds a square. So that is significantly heavier than a lot of our competition. Most of the competition comes in around the low 200s when it comes to basic architectural shingles. So we're about 30 pounds heavier, and that weight, it's coming from the asphalt. So we're putting more asphalt into the shingle, and the asphalt is what creates the weight, and that's what's really going to protect the roof from the elements. And the more asphalt you have, the better the granule retention. So that's a big selling feature, because a lot of weight's been taken out of a lot of shingles, but some manufacturers still maintain a real heavy weight, because it does add protection, and it does add integrity to the roof. So we are heavier. We do use more sealant as well. So this is another pretty cool comparison. So the IKO shingles on the left there, on the right is a Tamco, but you can honestly substitute this Tamco for any other brand. So you can see when you lift up the tab, you can see there's 2 lines of sealant on that Tamco. If you did the same experiment with JF or OC, there'd be 2 lines as well. But you can see with us that we have 4 lines of sealant underneath those tabs. So that's something you can visibly show a customer, and it's important because obviously we're in Colorado. It gets really windy out here. Dust and debris can get under there. If it does, that roof's not gonna, those shingles are gonna be compromised. So, that is a very easy, and noticeable selling feature. And then also, with the heat that we have out here, you guys are shingling in the summer on very steep pitches, on steep roofs. So having those 2 extra lines of sealant also help protect that roof from delaminating as well while it's being installed if it's really hot out. So any questions on the weight or the sealant? All right, so let's get into our dynasty.
I have a question.
Yeah.
With everything that you guys do with your shingles, like all that's bigger, they're heavier, seems like a lot more product in your product. How can you sell it? I guess we haven't gotten to the price point. So is it less? I mean, aside from the money you save from putting less on, is it cost wise? Is it a lesser cost?
Are you saying that what our pricing is to you?
Yeah, like, so I guess we probably haven't gotten that. It just looks like there's a lot of product in your product. So I think, oh, this should cost more because it's just more. Is that the case, or are your shingles actually less?
So the pricing I can't really discuss because that all comes from distribution, but ideally we should be a little bit more cost effective than the competition, but that is something that I don't control because the pricing all comes from distribution. But what I can tell you is that the reason we're able to be very competitive price wise, even though we're putting all this stuff into our product, is because, as I mentioned, we control everything. We do everything ourselves, so we don't buy from outside sources, and that's what increases the price. So when you're buying and outsourcing a lot of things, you have to then upcharge, distribution, which then has to just upcharge you. So that's how we can make it more competitively priced, because we're doing it all ourselves. And then we're also not a massive marketing company. We're more of a grassroots marketing company. So we're not this big marketing machine that and that some of the competition is, and that's why some of their shingles are very expensive, because they spend a lot of marketing and they have to probably charge more for their shingles.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
It's like almost identical. Your price is pretty much identical to our HDZ price, just so you're aware of the trick.
Gotcha. So the Dynasty, this is going to be our equivalent to an HDZ. So this is the shingle that I really want. This is the shingle that kind of should be the first shingle out of your bag. Honestly, if you're going to be using IKO, this would be the one. So the selling features with the Dynasty are first, hopefully you can see on the screen here, we have some very vibrant colors. Dynasty comes in 15 colors, and it's got more of that designer kind of HD look. So it's got, we use 4 colors of granules in this particular shingle. So that's what gives it that contrast, that vibrant look. So it is a very aesthetically pleasing product. But then it's got some great performance features to it. So the first thing with a Dynasty that's different about it is that we have a giant nailing zone. So I don't know if I have another image of it here. Let me see if I have. Let's see. This might be the best one. So on the front of the shingle, if you see down here, we have an 1.25 inch nailing zone for your guys to hit. So it's a giant target on the front. And then along the back of the shingle, running parallel to that nailing zone, we have this tear-resistant strip. So you could think of this kind of like a sure nail. You guys are all familiar with the sure nail, right? On duration, right? So
I'm not familiar with that.
okay. So this is basically a reinforcement. So it's meant to help with basically wind resistance. So it is a synthetic reinforcement that runs along the back of the shingle, and it just adds more ceiling power to the roof. So I'll show you how that technology actually works. But the nice thing about this protection is that you can get a 130 wind rating using only 4 nails because of this technology. Okay. And this is also a class 3 certified product. So there's a lot of different shingles out there. You know, unless they specifically say they're a class 3 or a class 4 shingle, that means they're unclassed.
Yeah, it seems hard to believe. I didn't believe when you first said it. Like, I don't know if I didn't believe you, but I was skeptical. And then
Right.
he is right though, that if you look on I looked like if you look at GAF HTZ shingle, you won't see class 3 anywhere on the product information, right?
Right.
Yeah, so we say class 3 and they might have an equivalent ability to as a class 3, but technically speaking, it's not a class 3 shingle. And I actually confirmed that with Beacon yesterday too, and they said the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's
weird. It's true though.
yeah. So there's only 2 class 3 shingles on the market, which is us and Malarkey. Any other shingle that doesn't specifically say it's class 3 or class 4 is just unclassed. There's no class 2, there's no class 1, it's just unclassed. So the nice thing about class 3 is that, so what it means is that class 3 is meant to withstand 1.5 inch hail. So that is what it actually means. And insurance companies do give premium discounts for class 3 shingles as well. So if it's a certified class 3, such as us or Malarkey, the homeowner can get an insurance discount.
Yeah.
So
and he'll show how this plays out with a video, or that video is pretty cool. But
I will. I'll definitely show that video as well. So
that helped me a lot for sure.
yeah. So the you know, the Dynasty is kind of it's a very unique shingle in the sense that you know, there's no other shingles out there on the market that are similar, that are going to have, you know, the vibrant, nice color palette, the reinforced nailing area. You know, your guys cannot miss this target. You know, they can't high nail it, right? It's just a giant nailing area. They're not going to miss the nail line, and to have this reinforcement on the back and have a class 3. There's no other shingle out there on the market like it. So it's a really easy shingle to talk about, because it's kind of stands in a class of its own.
I know I'm the partially colorblind one here, but it is interesting if you compare the other color palettes and other shingles compared to the Dynasty, like it is drastically more vibrant. So like just keep that in mind. Like I if you do a side by side, a lot of them just look very gray, and these are just way more vibrant.
Right.
Oh.
Right. So let me show you the class 4 as well. So the Nordic is our class 4 shingle. So Nordic would be equivalent to like an armor shield. But there are going to be some differences with that as well. So the Nordic's going to have the same exact color palette as the Dynasty. It's just not going to come in as many colors. That's going to be the biggest difference.
Which
Could you
go ahead, Austin.
help us with our pitch as far as, so customers will ask us about class 4, and basically we tend to say something like, well, it looks the exact same as class 3. So correct me if I'm incorrect in any of this. It looks the same as class 3. It's the same colors. Maybe there's some limitations to the colors. There's just something about the properties of the shingle that make it more hail resistant. I think it has a backing that's a little different, and that's what makes it more hail resistant.
Yeah, so there's a couple differences. So the class 4, technically by definition, class 4 is meant to withstand 2-inch hail. But another really different selling feature with us, as opposed to a lot of our competition, the other manufacturers, is that there's different testing for class 4. So certified class 3 is 1.5-inch hail. Class 4 is going to be 2-inch hail. So there's 2 different tests, which a lot of people don't know about for class 4. There's the UL test, and then there's the FM test. So if you look at any of the literature or brochures, it'll say on there which manufacturer does which test. So the UL test is basically just a laboratory test where they take a 2-inch steel ball, they drop it from 20 feet, and if it damages the shingles, it fails. If it doesn't, it passes. So we do a very different test. We do the FM test, which is actually using an ice cannon, shooting an ice ball at the shingles. So it's a more difficult test to pass, and it will, it'll show the qualities of the shingle. It'll expose some possible weak spots of the shingle where the laboratory test will not. So that's the test that we do. That's the class 4 test that we do. Jurisdictions don't care. They just want a class 4. So Fort Collins, they just want a class 4 shingle. But when you're sitting with a homeowner and you're talking about the difference between, a Nordic and say an armor shield, you can mention the fact that not all class 4s are created equal.
Yeah, but sorry to be so blunt, but to be honest, homeowners 99% of the time don't choose this. The only say they have is the color. If we just say, hey, IKO is the best, they'll go with it.
Right.
But they are curious, and they don't even need to know like what the difference between IKO's class 4 is against GAF's class 4. I just want to make sure we're describing the concept of class 4 accurately and correctly.
Yeah, so
Gotcha.
it withstands 2-inch hail, and it's FM rated, which I think people here may or may not be familiar with. We use FM ratings for our liquid membranes and for a lot of other stuff. So when we're selling, for example, our SEBS or a silicone, we say it's FM. Our acrylic, we say it's FM rated for severe hail. And then we talk about that. So FM is a legitimate rating system that gives credibility to what we sell in all sorts of roofing products. But with this class 4 shingle, does it have additional asphalt within it? Is it double?
So yeah, so it has it has the modified asphalt, the SBS. So it's the rubberized asphalt, which makes the shingle a little bit softer, and it's meant to withstand the bigger hail. So that's how you get the class 4 rating. Is
Got it.
You have to have something in there that protects the shingle a little bit better.
Okay, so for note takers, that's the key thing. It has additional rubberized asphalt, which allows it to be more elastic and withstand larger hail hits.
Correct.
Cool.
Correct. Yep. So it's an SBS, modified asphalt shingle. So we we, being IKO who we are, we kind of in theme with what we do, we make everything ourselves. So we make our own modified asphalt. So that's what we put into the shingle. It's our own modified asphalt, equivalent to SBS. We use SBS sometimes, but we actually make our own as well. And then
no one knows what the customer doesn't know what SBS is. They don't know what FM means. So but it would be accurate to say, yeah, the class 4 has asphalt that's a little more rubberized, which withstands hail better, but aesthetically you can't tell the difference, and it has the same color options.
And does your competitors, do they have different color options? I'm trying to think if Armor Shield
They're the same. It's the same
Same
situation
too.
on all of them. That is like essentially the. Honestly, I don't even think our crews can tell the difference.
So we have Nordic comes in 8 colors, but there's not going to be the homeowner's not going to notice a difference between a Dynasty and a Nordic. They're not going to see anything different. But as far when it comes to the actual product itself, Nordic is just going to have that modified asphalt. That's going to be the biggest difference. That's how it's a class 4, and Dynasty's not.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Whitney or some of I know Austin and I might get it, but Whitney and Patrick, some of the people are showing us, does that make sense? Any questions there?
No questions, but it makes sense.
Okay, great.
So are all class 4 shingles, do they have rubberized?
Not all. So there's like some manufacturers don't use the SBS.
Okay, is that something special you guys do?
No, I mean most of the manufacturers do. I think so I think actually most of the manufacturers do. I think OC is the only one that has 2 class 4s. So one of theirs does not, and the other one does, which is a little different. But yeah, I mean the industry has gone towards more SBS. You're probably gonna hear a lot more about class 4, honestly, because it started with Fort Collins, it moved to Lafayette, it moved to Loveland and Larimer County. It's something that's gaining popularity, and I wouldn't be surprised if more municipalities and cities take it on. So class 4 is going to be I think it's not going away. And the modified asphalt, the SBS, that's how these shingles are being made, and that's where the industry is moving. That's what insurance companies are pushing for. They want SBS modified asphalt products, and that's how a lot of the manufacturers make their products.
Yeah.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, no, totally it does. And I'm just new at it, so the question might seem silly, but I just don't know.
No,
so
nothing.
All those count. So up in Fort Collins, are class 4 shingles required? Is that a
So
requirement?
yeah, in Fort Collins, if you're putting on any roof, it has to be class 4.
Okay.
Within the within city limits, pretty much. If it's non-incorporated Fort Collins, I don't think that's true. Yeah, it's not true, but it's more places. Maybe Austin has a really good handle on it, I feel like, but more and more places are mandating class 4. Interesting.
Yeah, so Chase, I think Larimer County is where Fort Collins is located, and they're all class 4.
All class 4, huh?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I mean it's common. We sell class 4 shingles, I'd say 30% of the time. And we're not even pushing it. I think some roofers like really upsell it and charge a bunch. Like we're agnostic, and I don't know. We don't like, sometimes it makes it harder for insurance companies to buy roofs in the future.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, still real estate deals, a lot of times they demand class 4.
Really? I didn't know that.
Demand class 4. Yeah, they like say, I want a new roof and it has to be class 4 or whatever. I don't know. Like that.
So
sometimes it's the only thing a customer knows about differences in shingles. They're like,
Yeah.
I don't know what the brands are, but I know that there's class 3 and class 4, and I want the highest.
Right.
And so
Interesting.
again, that's why we're not pitching like customers never ask like, well, why should I go with this shingle or this shingle? You know, like, and we don't have like that's just more of an internal discussion. But with them, we just say, yeah, this shingle is awesome. And there's two options. There's the class 3 version and the class 4 option. It's going to look exactly the same, but one gives you a discount because it has a little more rubberized asphalt inside of it, so it withstands hail better.
Right.
So a lot of insurance companies give a discount, but sometimes the insurance companies
It's not
make
always.
it harder to buy the roof from hail in the future. So there's a trade-off.
Right.
Hey, you sign
then-
away your rights a lot of that's why I don't always push it, honestly. Unless you have to.
Truly, like it's usually a 2-sentence conversation. We really try not to go into technical details if we don't have to.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I just I wanted to make sure you guys have all the info that you need, and you guys can go about and market it however it works for you guys. But
No, this is great because I think in the past I was saying like there was a backing that is different, but I don't know where that came from.
so
Obviously,
you're right about that. So OC is the one. So OC Duration Storm is a class 4, and they just have a mesh fiberglass backing, and they don't have any SBS. So when that mesh backing is compromised, then that shingle is damaged. So that's a very popular shingle, but it doesn't have SBS, and that's what you're thinking about.
So this is
I see.
SEBS or SBS? Because we sell SCBS, which is a thermoplastic rubber that we use as like a liquid membrane or coating. But this is SBS. It's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it's so we just say modified asphalt because SBS is a company. It's a particular like polymer and solvent. And since we make our own, we don't always say SBS, even though we use it sometimes. We mostly just make our own modified asphalt, which is basically just a
Modified
soft
asphalt, rubberized asphalt, something like that. It's what you remember. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, so Nordic will have that strip on the back as well, the reinforcement. So, Nordic is another shingle that's gonna be very kind of unique. You have the class 4, you have the modified asphalt, you have the nice color palette. For the price point that Nordic is, it's a great value. So, if you guys don't have any other questions on those, I can show you quickly our designer shingle. I know that you don't sell a lot of it, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. And then I can talk about warranties. Is that you guys?
Is your designer shingle class 4?
It is.
Cool.
It's
Yep,
just
so-
something we don't sell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
But,
how many bundles per square is the designer shingle? Is it 6?
So it's 5 bundles per square. Again, it's a true full square. It's a thick, heavy product. It's 360 pounds per square. So it is a heavy, massive shingle. The nice thing about it is that in this particular style of shingle, the Certainteed Presidential is definitely the biggest name out there. So I'll compare it to Certainteed. A Certainteed comes in 90 pieces in a square. The Armor Shake comes in 70. So it's going to be a much quicker and easier install than a Presidential. And again, it's class 4 as well.
This kind of a teachable moment. We had a incident one time where a new salesperson sold a roof. Saw that the bundle price is pretty similar between this designer shingle and the
Oof.
normal shingle, and he went ahead and sold the designer shingle without realizing that you have to there's way more bundles per.
Sorry, Austin, you're breaking up.
There's way more bundles per square, basically saying that basically the salesman lost money.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah.
I'm just-
You have to.
This is more for our team, not necessarily related to you, but the classic rookie mistake is to think that this is the same price as the normal shingles because the bundle price is similar.
Right, right.
When in reality, you have to put a lot more bundles per square. So it could be, you know, maybe not 100% more expensive, but 80% more expensive.
What is
Right.
shake? So yeah, let's not do that, friends. Good thought, Austin. Trying to get ahead of these things. What is shake exactly versus an asphalt shingle? What's that mean, shake?
Well, shake is pure wood
I
and
see.
it's
Yeah, so it's-
band. So it's
these,
like,
yeah, these shingles are meant to resemble the wood, the all wood shingles. So
so
that's what they're.
sometimes if
It's just a look.
you had a shake roof, customers feel like they're downgrading if they go down to a normal shingle. So they either want tile or like these designer shingles.
Cool. What's this
And we
made
can
out of?
and we cannot install shake. It's like a fire code,
Yeah, that
fire
makes sense.
hazard.
So what's this made of, Mike?
This is asphalt as well.
Okay. It's just thicker. Yeah, it's
Thicker and heavier. Yep.
50 pounds. Gotcha. Okay. Copy
Yeah.
that.
So it's significantly heavier. I mean, it's a lot heavier.
Great.
But yeah, it's mainly the people that buy shake roofs are really, they're buying it for the aesthetics. It's just a different. It's all about the look of it.
Got it.
Yeah. So we have some other designer shingles. I'll skip over those. Let's get into warranties. So I know warranty is always a big topic. People always ask questions. I have your standard warranties for all your manufacturers here. So I just wanted to kind of show you guys how we're different. We try to be very black and white with our warranties. So I highlighted the bottom 2 rows here in green because those are the most important. This second to last row is your single family homes, and the bottom row is your non-single family homes. So when it comes to Dynasty and Nordic, we have the best upfront warranty in the industry. So when it comes to the non-prorated part, the fully covered part, we're at 15 years. That's non-prorated. So everything's a lifetime shingle these days. So that's kind of, everybody makes a lifetime shingle. But what's important is,
sorry to interrupt you there, Mike. It's just something I learned for the newer people. So you'll get a lot of customers that'll say, hey, I want a 30-year roof. I want a 50-year roof. But what they don't understand is it's actually was like regulated, I think, by the government of some sort, where they said all shingles have to be lifetime shingles. So they have to guarantee correct me if I'm wrong, but guarantee the product they're putting out that it's legit, like it's not corrupted from the manufacturer for the lifetime of the shingle now. But if hail hits it or something happens, that's a different story. Is that what it means for it to be a lifetime shingle, or how would you explain that, Mike?
yeah. So what you were referring to is the industry used to refer to, there used to be 30-year, 40-year, 50-year shingles. It was all based on the gauge, the thickness of the shingle. So that terminology has kind of been going away, and everything these days is just a lifetime shingle. So like the Armor Shake used to be, because of its thickness, what people would refer to it as a 50-year shingle, whereas the entry level shingles would be considered 30-year shingles. But yeah, these days, everything's a lifetime shingle. Any act of God, which is considered weather, like hail, tornado, hurricane, those void any type of warranty. But yeah, everything is a lifetime warranty these days. So that 30, 40 year, 50-year thing is no longer really talked about. Does that answer your question?
Then
Why this?
What's that?
Yeah, so that I guess the question now would be, what's the point of this 15-year? What's that?
So this
warranty?
is what's covered 100%. So within the prorated period. So if our shingle fails for any reason within the first 15 years, it is 100% reimbursed. Covered by 100%. There's no depreciation. Whereas all the competition, for the most part, they're at 10 years. Those are your standard warranties these days. So this is your non-prorated portion, and then after the non-prorated portion, then it starts to depreciate for the lifetime of the shingle. Does that make sense?
Oh, okay, okay, that makes
if
sense.
if y'all find hail damage, the warranty's void.
Yeah, hail damage is the hail damage voids any warranty. Doesn't matter which manufacturer.
I know. That's why we stopped talking about warranties to our customers, because it's like it's gonna hail within 15 years in Colorado.
Yeah, I
Sometimes
know.
they
It's,
ask about it, so it's like it's a weird thing where you need to know it, but we don't lead with it.
right.
It's a
Well,
debate.
it's yeah. I mean, I know a lot of customers. There's a lot of people that sell warranties that and customers don't really know what they're getting. But it's good to. It would be. I think this is good so people understand like what they're actually getting. When they get a roof.
So
The nice
just
thing about us.
oh.
What's that?
I should clarify just so it makes sense. So every shingle is a lifetime shingle. However, if something did happen to the product, they would prorate. They would give you only the money. It would be minus depreciation, the value of the shingle minus depreciation. This is saying that they won't take out depreciation for 15 years. That's what it's saying.
Correct. Correct. Yep. So, and also the nice thing about us is that we don't change our warranty based on the type of roof it's being installed on. So if you look at OC and you look at JF here, they have a 10-year non-prorated for single family. So if you guys happen to land an apartment complex or even a duplex, they drop their warranty to 5 years. And then if you want anything beyond the 5 years, you have to buy all their accessories and then pay per square for any additional warranty that you want. So we do not do that. We keep the same warranty. So whether you do a 30 square roof or a 3,000 square apartment complex, you're still getting 15 years non-prorated at no additional cost to you or your customer. So
Gotcha.
really
No,
big
we're
selling.
copying you. Yeah.
So this is a nice selling feature if you guys do get into the multifamily stuff. And then it just also adds credibility to our shingle, that we know our shingle is going to perform. And we're not worried about, changing the warranty just because it's a giant project. We're not worried about the liability of that. So it really speaks to how highly we think about our product and the fact that we know it's going to perform.
Cool. Thank you for that. It's great.
Yeah. So we have we have all of our accessories as well, so I'm not going to spend too much time on these, but we have a high def ridge. So this is a high ridge. This is a class 4 ridge. So this would be an option for someone that wants this type of look when it comes to a high def ridge. We also have a low ridge as well. So you have two options. Kind of in theme with IKO, we give you more bang for your buck. So you get 36.5 linear feet per bundle, as opposed to the standard, which is about 33. Our starter, same thing. You get 123 linear feet per bundle, as opposed to, I think, 110 to 118 from the other manufacturers. We have, sorry, I don't know what happened there. I'm just going to skip over. We have underlayment. We have ice and water. We have various other accessories that if you wanted to upsell, but we have all the necessary accessories that you guys would need to do a roofing system.
Do you have an opinion on synthetic versus standard 15-pound? Like, what is it that when you're selling your synthetic felt, what is it that's your selling point?
You know what? I don't have a good answer to that because I know the industry has kind of gone away from using felt and pretty much everyone uses synthetic these days. And I really don't know. I'm not too well versed with felt, and I could find out for you.
There's specifically like on roofs between 212 and 412. The code says we have to put 2 layers of felt down.
Correct.
And that's really common.
Correct.
So our default right now is synthetic felt unless it's 212, 312, or 412, in which case we would do 2 layers of black 15-pound felt. Because 2 layers of synthetic felt gets a little pricey.
Gotcha.
but I don't know if so.
I can find out. I can get.
Like we
I can
understand
circle
that
back.
one layer of synthetic is way better than one layer of black 15 pound. I'm curious if like how it compares to 2 layers of black 15 pound.
Yeah, unfortunately, I do not have a good answer for you.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, I don't want to tell you anything that that I just don't know. But let me circle back on that. Let me find out some differences between doing the
And
felt
then
and synthetic.
Can I just ask a quick question?
Yeah.
So as far as that, I understand for in order to get the 15-year from IKO, we have to order all your products,
No.
like all your felt. Oh no.
No. So that is just the shingle itself. So you just use our shingle and the warranty is in place.
cool.
Okay, great.
Yeah. We have incentives for for you guys to use our systems, but it's not tied to warranty in any way.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. Let me show you the what Chase mentioned. So this is a video from the IRE Roofing Expo. So this is not an IKO video. This is from Roofing Insights. So if you guys are ever curious about getting some more roofing information, this is a great resource. If you Google Roofing Insights, this guy does tons of product reviews, tons of kind of seminars and training for contractors, and he just talks about the different brands out there and kind of what their advantages are. So this is his video from the IRE, which is the International Roofing Expo, and it's basically just he's at the OC booth and he's asking the OC employees to test out their duration versus the GAF Timberline HDZ versus our Dynasty to see how well that reinforced nailing area actually performs and see how it really helps with wind. So let me show you this video, and then this is available on YouTube, so I can send this to you so you can have a link to it. But let me just show you this real quick so you can kind of see how this works and how we perform. Let's see, where's the play button? So I just paused it for a second. So the shingle that's blurred out, that's the GAF HDZ shingle. Yeah. So this is the OC guy. He just has some kind of tool that measures how many pounds of force is needed to lift the shingle. So they're gonna talk about the numbers afterwards. They scored 16. That's the IKO. So you can see, hopefully you guys can see the bigger nailing area on there. You can see how wide that is. So we don't want you hitting on the common bond on the bottom white line. We actually want you hitting a little bit higher in that giant area there. And that's where it's reinforced with that tape on the back. So hopefully that shows you guys how the product performs, how the Dynasty and the Nordic perform with that reinforced nailing area. It is like I said, we're selling on our performance and our quality. And if you guys are ever curious about seeing some more stuff, if you go to Roofing Insights, they have a 2022 shingle review. It's like a 30-minute video, and they talk about every brand, and they talk about different criterias that they're testing. We actually ended up being their top shingle for 2022, which is pretty cool. But
Yeah,
that's
that's
pretty
really
much,
cool. Yeah.
yeah, that's really it, guys. I didn't want to, that's kind of the main stuff that I wanted to show you guys. Hopefully it was helpful and beneficial. Yeah, what do you guys think? Any questions?
So I think we've been comparing apples to oranges for a while. I think we were comparing your IKO Cambridge to GAF HTZ, and we heard that GAF HTZ is better. But you're saying it's really your Dynasty that's kind of the level up.
Yeah,
How we
because
should be.
because the HDZ is our mid-tier shingle, and Dynasty is our mid-tier shingle.
Got it. Okay. So that was probably an unfair comparison we were doing.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then sweet.
Well, any other questions? Anybody? Cool.
I'm just wondering, so it seems like there's some cost savings that we can get on the standard class 3 shingle. Are those cost savings similar on the class 4 and the designer shake shingle?
So when you say cost savings, are you referring to price?
Well, price and the slightly larger
Yeah.
shingles per square-ish,
Right. Yeah. The true square is across the true square applies to all of our products. So that you're getting that with every line of shingles, the true square. The price again is something I can't talk about. That's something that is a distribution thing. So that is
Gotcha. Yeah,
yeah.
so and it depends on our deal with our
Sure.
supplier and all that. So
Right.
guess
So
Virtually the same price per square for both, for all 3 class 3s. If you can look on ABC's on our portal and you can see. those
yeah,
accurate.
I can compare that there. Okay.
yeah.
But still, there's still some cost savings. I'm just thinking like, particularly with cash, cash deals that we do. It's not, it would be nice to have any cost savings that you can build in. So.
Right. Yeah, I would the only thing I could say is just talk to distribution, and they price things out based on what you're selling. So based on what brand
Volume.
or what you want to do. So I can't really talk about price, but that's a conversation that that Chase could have, based
Okay.
on what you guys are selling.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
What's the difference between like the low tier, like Cambridge and Dynasty? Like how much better is Dynasty?
I would say it's significantly better, just because the Cambridge, for one, the color is going to be it's going to be a different color palette. So the Cambridge is going to be more of a monotone color palette, where we only use 3 colors. We do a 3-color granule drop in the Cambridge as opposed to a 4 with the Dynasty and Nordic. And then Cambridge doesn't have that reinforced nailing area, and that's really the biggest selling feature for me, is like how it performs against the elements. And then also Cambridge isn't a class 3, it's unclassed.
Got it.
So it's a significantly different product.
And that would be similar to like Owens Corning Oak Ridge or something.
Yeah, or the HDZ is closer to Dynasty in their colors, but the HDZ doesn't have a reinforced nailing area, and they also don't have and they're also not class 3. So
cool.
Yeah. So yeah, Cambridge is going to be significantly different than the Dynasty, and it's a nice shingle, don't get me wrong, I like selling it, but it's it's kind of one of those shingles where if you can sell the Dynasty, you're gonna provide a much better product and much better peace of mind for your customer, and it's not gonna break the bank.
Do you have good sample boards?
We do. We can send you whatever you guys need.
Yeah, send us a bunch of Dynasty stuff. That'd be great.
Yeah, Whitney, if you're on here, if you have a chance today, just go check and see what we have currently, and then let me know or let Mike know of what we still need. That'd be helpful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So we keep our sample boards actually pretty simple. So we call Dynasty and Nordic Performance the performance line. So we actually put Dynasty and Nordic on the same sample board because it's the same color palette, and it makes it much easier for you guys to carry less stuff, and it makes it much easier to understand. So we try to simplify that as well.
Cool.
Awesome.
That's great. I don't think we have many IKO sample boards, and if we do, they might be
It's
a
Cambridge.
while ago.
I bet they're
let's get
Cambridge
some
too,
new
to be
ones
honest.
then. Yeah,
Yeah, they might be Cambridge. Yeah.
maybe. Awesome. Yeah, Mike.
Look
you
us up.
send
You'd
some
be
over,
surprised
that'd be
how
great.
influenced we are by what sample boards we happen to have in the truck.
Right.
Yeah.
As little as yeah, we're not quite as thoughtful as you might hope that we are.
Sounds like I should send sample boards to every single sales rep, and then I'll be covered.
Yeah.
You will yeah.
I could definitely do that too. That's not a problem. I can set a
I don't like admitting that, but I'm just giving you a sales tip.
Well, let me know if you want to send me if you guys can forward me the addresses of your sales guys. I'd be happy to send them some sales, one set of samples at least for themselves.
Yeah, just Dynasty. We don't even want to confuse them with Cambridge or
Yeah.
Designer. So just Dynasty.
Gotcha. That's no problem.
I'd like to have some options in the office though, that, you know, just
we'll just have you send them in the office. It'll be fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll send a bunch to the office then.
okay, great, thank you.
Absolutely. Anything else?
Sweet. Thanks, Mike. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely, guys. Give me a shout if you need anything. And yeah, Chase, we'll be talking soon because I definitely want to talk about preferred contractor stuff and all the stuff that goes into that as well. So let's circle back on that.
All right.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Mike. Great job.
Thank you. Take care, guys.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.